Welcome, everyone, to what is the episode? It just came up on the screen. It is gone. 346 of Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. I appreciate you being with me here for this episode. Clayton Landey. This is Colonel Dillon Everett, United States Marine Corps. He is joining me this hour. We're going to talk about his career, his life, what led him to Atlantis and to the Pegasus Galaxy. And we've got him for a live show. So if you are in the chat right now, you can go ahead and submit your questions over to him. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me. Listen, someone has a team, wants to talk to me, I'm ready.
Absolutely. No, this is a privilege for me because Clayton, I honestly didn't think you would agree to it, because I grew up with Knots Landing, so I do have that in my back pocket. Although I was really young and I watched it in reruns. But this character left such an impression on me. I couldn't describe, because I grew up with a military officer in my house. And it's not like he made me snap to or anything when I came in the room, but I respond very positively to most kinds of authority in that direction, because I know, if you don't respond, and you don't get going, lives are at stake. I loved this guy, and
That thrills me because I am a person who has fled and buckled and fought against authority my entire life. I um I don't accept authority for authority's sake. And I'm one of those speak truth to authority, speak truth to power. Um I question authority at any and all times. This is a particularly fraught time for us right now, where we have to deal with that in a way that we should never have to. And I won't go political. Um, and yet, I have played any number of authority figures, military majors, colonels, captains, judges. I don't know what it is about me that draws people to see me in those roles, but I'm very happy, very grateful that they have seen me in those lights. In fact, I remember auditioning for this. I remember it vividly. Um, the room was filled with guys who had starred in their own series, two of whom I recall guesting on their shows, and they didn't even give me a nod in the room. Um, and yet I'm the guy who, yeah, well, and I won't mention the shows
okay,
or the people.
just
Okay.
sour grapes. Okay,
Well,
I don't mean to
it's
derail you.
not
We'll get
in
around
that
to it.
situation. I would say two things go on. It's not sour grapes so much as it's people believing that they deserve diva status.
Oh, for God's
And
sake, they put
I
their pants on like everyone else does.
thank you very much. And also, I have a friend I will mention, Ray Abruzzo, who was a regular on Sopranos, was a regular on Dynasty when I was doing Knots Landing.
Yeah,
Ray and
yeah.
I became friends because we were both up. They were adding a series regular role to Night Court, and they cast a wide net. And I would bet you they had looked at 500 people. And that it was the rare time. Usually you go in, there's an audition, maybe there's a callback for a series regular role. It could be two or three, and then you're going to get tested at network. They saw us 5 times for that show. And from the very first time, the very first audition, Ray and I looked across the room and spotted each other. We did not know each other. And we looked at each other and said, him. And
There's a
so,
vibe. There was a vibe.
oh, it was him or me. And we both knew it.
Yeah.
And we proceeded. Can I have, how much language can I use on this show?
For the first 5 minutes, PG-13, and we are
PG-13.
at
So,
6:15. So please proceed.
but we proceeded to mess with each other.
Okay.
Okay. I can talk now.
Yeah, you can.
We just started fucking with each other. I mean, we just went for each other. And in those days, it's very different now. In those days, there was the green room, and typically you were up for a gig. There was five people in the room. You knew the other four because you saw them every time.
Mm-hmm.
Ray and I had never come across each other, and we saw each other, and we knew he's the one I got to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just started dicing each other, getting each other's heads, just playing the game, going for each other like we were on a street corner. And and with each succeeding level, we got into it even more. Just knives in each other's heads. And it came down to him or me. He got the role.
Wow.
He got the role. God bless him. And as a result, we've been friends for over 35 years.
So
And we
mutual
find,
respect there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
An appreciation for
because
talent.
we had really gone for it, and we knew how to
Mhm.
play the game in the green room so that we could go do our job in the audition room in the space. And we finally last year, he had the lead in a picture called Sonny Boy, and I got to play his brother. And
Ah.
and it was so funny because they reached out to me. I get an email, I get an offer to do this film. And they tried to explain, you're going to play Ray Abruzzo. You would play Ray Abruzzo's brother. And Ray Abruzzo was so and so, and he's done such and such.
Oh yeah.
You're explaining this to the wrong guy. And we had the best time. And the funny thing was, we had this great scene, a party scene, and it's in his honor, and and it's me telling stories about him. And we was between takes, we were sitting on the stairs, just shooting the shit, just having a great time talking about the histories that we shared, and we go back to off Broadway. We were in the same place at the same time throughout our career and had not crossed paths until then. And so we're just having a great time. Well, they shot us talking together on the stairs, and that's what's in the film, rather than
Ah,
the
just
scene
the
that was written for the
banter.
film. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, because that's what they
it's
wanted
genuine.
was that feeling between the brothers, that shared history. So it was really funny.
There is something to be said for when you come across. I guess it depends on your character, your constitution as a person. When you, because you can certainly take it as threatening.
Oh,
When you come across a peer, who it's like, damn, they're good, and you can either attempt to tear them down psychologically, through talking behind their back to peers,
no, never.
or you can say, you know what, he's got
I
something there
have
that I want, and I
I
want to be
have
just as
such a
good as that
respect.
guy.
I have such a
Yeah,
respect and a love for talent
yeah.
that I want to spend my time with talent. Talented people who understand what it is that we do,
Hmm.
why we do it, and the way how hard we have to work to do it. Um, I just did a reading the other night with a room full of talented people. I was just thrilled to be in the room with them. And I've been doing this for 52 years now. And I'm deeply grateful for the opportunities I've had,
Mm,
for the life that I've had, and the joy and the life that this business has given me. And it's been hard work every step of the way.
mm,
I'm not the golden boy.
mm.
Uh, I'm the guy who's in support of the golden boy,
You're probably
you
better
know.
for it.
Well, maybe. I would not disagree with that. I would not disagree with that.
Some people need more problems to overcome rather than obstacles to avoid.
And I've never been the one to be up on a pedestal,
Yeah.
you know? So I didn't have to deal with that part of the business
Yeah.
ever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's only now, and it's really, I mean, it's funny to me to a certain degree. Look, I'm very fortunate. 52 years, I've got over 400 credits in this business, film,
It's a
TV,
lot.
theater, commercials. And the first time I wrote that out, it was in response to somebody who was being an idiot. And now when I see it on the page, it's like,
Yeah.
well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I really did do all of that.
Yeah. It's
How
not
did that
insignificant.
How did I get from there to here?
One
And
to
I'm
the
old
other.
enough now to have some it's retrospection for me. It's introspection for me. And yet I walk past the mirror, I see an out of work actor. I see a guy looking for his next job.
Yeah.
But I've been fortunate enough to be here long enough to have all that behind me. And I teach advanced classes here in town now.
You're in
You
LA?
know, I'm a member of the national board.
Okay.
It's really surprising to me to receive the kind of respect that I used to give, that I still give to those who I look up to. And you forget when you're in the game, like at that time with Ray.
Yeah.
At that time in our careers, we were both, he was a regular, I was doing recurring, I was a regular, he was doing, you're fortunate enough to be a working actor. I got a gig like Stargate. It was like, oh, thank God I'm paying him out. The mortgage is taken care of this month. That's a great thing. And you're thinking of yourself as a working actor. You're working hard to maintain where you are, maybe get ahead a little bit if you can. And you forget until now, where I'm teaching the kids who are coming up, and I'm very particular about the people I work with, the students that I do take on.
Oh,
You have to
good.
interview, you have to audition to work with
You
me.
have to see something.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right. Exactly right. If I'm going to spend my time with you, there has got to be a real reason for that to occur. If we're going to share that time, you better be good enough to be in the room with me, and I got to be good enough to lead you somewhere.
But you're not, you find yourself surprised though when other people, you just said, provide you with the same kind of respect that you received. And it's so, I mean, we could break that down, until the cows came home. But I think that there is something there, which at its core is gratuity for where it is, or gratitude for where
Gratitude.
it is that you have.
Gratitude.
Here's my bill.
I'll accept the gratuity.
You're right. Yes.
But yeah,
Gratitude
gratitude.
for where you are, so that it
Yes.
never gets. Excuse me. Kiss the ring.
Yeah. Oh God, no.
No. So
And it
this.
was it was not until now, excuse me, where I'm working with these people that you remember, because you're that working guy making your bills, taking care of your family. This is the profession that's you've chosen, or it's chosen you, and I think it's
Hmm.
chosen you. Otherwise, you're not here to have the
Hmm.
conversation. Uh, until you get with these people who are trying to get their first step on the ladder or get further up on the ladder, that you realize there's 200,000 other people who want to be standing where you're standing.
Hmm.
I mean, that never,
Ah.
it doesn't occur to you while you're in the climb and
Hmm.
working your ass off to be in the climb, that you're that far ahead of so many other people who want what you're doing, want to be where you are. And that's when really gratitude shows up, man. If you haven't said thank you so far, you better start saying it now.
It is a competitive industry, and
Incredibly so. And we forget when we're in the competition
right.
how fortunate enough we are
Yeah.
to be in the competition.
Yeah, you could be in the soup line in 6 months. If you have like a really good gig, depending on how much you've got banked up, even sooner.
Right.
We're never promised tomorrow. I've lost some family members this summer,
Oh, I'm
pretty
sorry.
pretty
Sorry.
tragically, and thank you. And so it's been a lot of introspection in that regard, a lot of
Hmm.
plumbing these deep thoughts of like, what is it that you have now? How
Hmm.
thankful have you been because of what you have now? Because it can all get ripped away.
In a
And
heartbeat.
to be
In a heartbeat.
afforded an opportunity to stand in front of people, even if you're reading someone else's lines, even if you're making choices that you yourself wouldn't necessarily make, finding a way in your mind to make yourself convinced that in this guy's shoes, I would say this, and speaking to people and conveying a message to them, hopefully one that ultimately shares a great story, a great entertaining experience, but also at the end of the day, and then the larger message, maybe give something back to someone. That's a gift.
Yeah, it is.
So
It absolutely is. Uh, we're fortunate enough to be able to earn our daily bread doing that. And if you've been doing it well enough, long enough, you get to choose. Certain opportunities come your way that allow you to take on projects, the opportunities, the projects
mm,
that have something to do with what you believe in.
yeah.
That's not an everyday occurrence. It's rare and it's a joy when we have that opportunity.
Can I take a roundabout segue with you for a moment?
Go.
What's Joan Collins like? You mentioned Dynasty.
That's one of the divas whose name I will not speak.
Okay. Okay. I bring her up because she was she played a very memorable role in a Star Trek episode called "The
Mhm.
City on the Edge of
Early
Forever."
on, yeah, in the original, yeah, yeah.
And I'll never forget this quote of hers. She swears by this, but I mean I just think she's just saying so. Someone asked her, "Aren't you Alexis Colby, that bitch from Dynasty?" And she turns around and goes, "No, no, no. I'm Edith Keeler, Depression era social worker from Star Trek."
Yeah,
And
and you fell in love with Edith Keeler,
you did,
as Kirk did,
yeah,
you know.
until she got hit by the friggin' truck.
Yeah, but and do you and how do you play with the time? How do you play with time? Can you
That's
play
it.
with time?
And
What else does it cost you,
that's it.
to say that? Um,
To get roped into sci-fi, it it has some of the most dedicated fans out
it's
there.
astounding to
Yeah,
me. Listen, we're having a conversation I never assumed in my life I would have. Um, and it is due to the fact that I've worked in a number of sci-fi and I've done horror
yeah,
and again at the time I'm fortunate to have a job. I am a sci-fi fan. Um, I get asked more about a couple of horror things that I did
yeah,
than anything else. Not particular horror fan, but love doing it.
yeah.
You know, being putting yourself in the reality is what we do as an actor. How do I live that moment? And that's fun stuff to do.
There's something
Some of
good
the
about
stuff
having a
I've
good
done, I wouldn't
scare.
pay to see,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
right. Well, yeah, you
But
know,
but I will tell you,
yeah.
I've now had, again, holy mackerel. I've had the opportunity, and I'm deeply grateful to have done a couple of fan conventions. I've just signed to
Hmm.
do another one. Um, I remember the very first one I did a Monsterama here in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and people came out of the woodwork. People came from small towns in North Georgia with Nightmare on Elm Street and blob posters for me to sign. And it's like, oh my God,
Meant something to them.
that meant something to you?
Yeah, they're gonna drive.
Again,
Yeah,
I was so happy to put food on the table
yeah,
and I had a ton of fun doing it. But I had one woman bought two, I had to autograph two photos from Nightmare on Elm Street for her. Nightmare, I did number three, and there's a ton of people have said to me, "This is my favorite. This is the best of the nightmares." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was very happy to get the job,
yeah.
um, I worked with the director three times as a result of that. Um, and it was important to her to get two because her husband lived through stage three cancer, and the place that he went to get relief and to solace. Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting childhood, probably.
In a million years,
Yeah,
you couldn't have told me that doing Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was going to make a difference in someone's life. And yet,
yeah,
here's this woman in tears. I did selfies. I mean,
yeah.
embrace this person because this made a difference in her and her husband's
Yep.
life. I can't imagine that.
Horror, in particular, leaves you naked. I think it is one of the more honest emotions. I mean, it's also the most instinctual with our little lizard brain way in there.
Yeah.
And but I should have gone into therapy over the nuclear apocalypse sequence from Terminator 2 when I saw it for the first time, and I was 9 years old. And I had serious concern, preoccupations with the end of the world. And as an adult, it's one of my favorite films of all time. There's certain things that just stick with you when you're young and impressionable. And, hopefully you can sort your way out of them. And it sounds like with this guy, it gave him a great deal of comfort.
There's the word comfort. And the first few times, and this is pre-fan convention
Yeah.
times, people would tell me along the way that when they were a kid, Nightmare on 3 was their favorite one. I was like, your parents should be investigated for child abuse. They took you to see Nightmare on 3 when you were how old?
Right.
I certainly wouldn't let my kids see
Right.
it.
Yeah. No, and I wasn't allowed to see Terminator either. I was at a friend's house. So yeah. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. How much did you know about Stargate before Colonel
I
Everett came
love
down the
the
pike?
film. Kurt
Okay.
Russell, the original Stargate. I was a big fan of that film. That Kurt Russell. I mean, come on, Kurt Russell. This guy has never done anything that you didn't believe 100%
Hmm.
everything that he was doing. His whole, what a career, what a
And I've
life.
heard he's a good guy.
That's what I am told. I have never had a personal interaction. I have friends that have and said, wonderful, wonderful guy. And I completely bought the premise. I bought into the whole thing. I was a huge fan of that. And I had watched. I would guess I saw most of the first season. I mean, I'm a sci-fi fan, so I knew Stargate, the series as well. And a friend, Jay Acovone. Uh,
Oh, wonderful human being. I love
absolutely,
the man. Salt of the earth.
absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Have,
Yep.
have you interviewed him? Is
I
that how you know?
have. I have. I've met him twice. Wonderful guy.
Jay, actually, it was funny when I went up to do my first episode of Stargate Atlantis. Jay was in town to do another Stargate. Jay was
Mobius.
the person to tell me about doing fan conventions and
Yep.
doing the con. He said, "You got to do this." I said, "They keep bring." I said, "Wait a minute. Why are you doing it? Didn't you die? What are you doing here?"
It's sci-fi.
And that's the beauty of Stargate. The very first episode, he comes back through the gate, it lops off the top of his head.
That's right.
But because it's the gate, he's
Huh?
shown up 8 times in other
Something like
universes.
it. Yeah.
I love this. I absolutely love this. And we worked with each other. We were both there doing guest shots, and we helped each other at night. We'd get together and work on our lines with each other to be ready for the next
Ah,
day's
that's a
work.
great story.
And I had done because I had done Hollywood Beat that he did with Jack. Yeah, great guy,
Yeah,
great guy.
he's a great human being. Can you tell me? You said you remembered a lot from this audition. Um, who was this guy to you on the page? How did that manifest in the audition room? And what did that? I think it was Martin Wood who directed, if I'm not
Martin Wood
mistaken.
directed it. John Smith was
John Smith.
producing
Oh,
it,
John
and
Smith.
I will tell you, I am very happy to be here to talk about Stargate Atlantis.
Ah,
This was one of the great joys to do. I will tell you that as hundreds of things that I've done, which is still astounding to me, I can tell you 2 instances where I was treated this well. And
ah.
rule of thumb in this business, pretty much every set you walk on is going to be an asshole. And if you look around and you can't figure out who the asshole is, it's probably you.
Yeah.
This one, no one. This was a working family.
Yeah.
Everybody, and I'll say top to bottom, but there was no top, there was no bottom. Everybody on this show received the same level of respect and care and thoughtfulness from everyone else on the show. It was phenomenal. Every moment on this set, every moment on this production. They were so cool. My wife is a civilian. Um, this is one of those stories. We were high school sweethearts, didn't see each other for 30 years,
Ah.
and now we're married now,
Love has a way.
3 years,
Good.
and we were fairly fresh when I did the show. I think I did this between 2003, 2005, right around
This was
2005.
yeah, it was shot in '04.
Oh
Yes,
04.
sir. You got it.
There you go. Oh 04. And we were married in 03.
Okay.
And this group of people was so wonderful because I was up there for a couple of weeks. I did a
Yep.
couple episodes that they sent for my wife. They
They
and
got her a
she had never
ticket.
been, huh?
They got her a ticket.
Not just a ticket. They sent her the limo. They brought her up first class.
Ah.
She'd never been treated like this. And it's a first set that she came to visit me on. So,
Wow, out of all of them.
right? And this is a studio show. So
Yeah.
we're in the studio, and she'd never been in a studio before. And she's walking along the wall trying to stay out of people's way. She doesn't know what to do. John, producer John
John
Smith,
Smith.
goes and he sees her, he gets her, he puts her in his seat, gives her his headphones, sits her down in front of the monitor so she can see and hear absolutely everything. I mean, these people,
Yep.
they blew me away. They took us out to dinner with the cast that night,
Yep. Sounds right.
so that we were treated like gold. We were treated like the top cast on the show. It was amazingly wonderful.
Kind of the
Uh,
opposite of how Colonel Everett was received when he walked in, for at least from
the
Weir.
exact opposite.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it's so interesting that, Martin Wood, he directed a ton of them.
Yeah.
I mean, him and John were involved in like over 90 episodes.
Yeah.
So they were aware of every word on the page and how every word was supposed to translate it to screen. And I'm telling you, going from start, they had both shows going at the
Hmm.
same time, and there was a beautiful bleed over between crew and creatives. They knew every little tick of that world. So that when I picked up that script for the audition, I didn't have to make up anything. It was there. All I had to do was show up and be that human being. And frankly, as I say, I can see that room waiting to go into audition. I was the only guy in the room who wasn't a series who didn't have his own show. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So I'm looking around at nothing but names. And as I said, two of those names, I'd been a guest on their shows, and I didn't even get a hello from them. They were either so involved in being there and blocking out the world, or one particular guy, a little bit of a diva.
Where was this? What city were you in?
I was living in LA.
You were in LA. Okay.
I was in LA for 30 years,
Okay.
and this happened in LA. And the majority, because of Canadian production
Yep.
restrictions, etc., rules and regs, the majority of the creative cast and crew needed to be Canadian.
Mhm.
And I didn't find out till after I could have gotten a Canadian citizenship because my grandfather had been born in really weird. My great grandmother was pregnant with my grandfather, visited a cousin in Montreal, had my grandfather while she was there, and then came back. So based on that,
Yeah.
I could have been hired as a Canadian and
Yeah.
had a better. So anyway, um, uh, the guest stars were often um, guys from LA,
Yeah.
men and women from LA. Um,
Especially in a season finale. This is a tent pole. They're obviously
uh-huh.
spending some money here, and
Absolutely.
in fact, Brad quoted me. Yeah, we spent some money in that particular episode, making the Pegasus Galaxy look like a scene from Baghdad in the early '90s.
Yeah.
It's a role. The man comes into the room through the gate. He immediately takes control. I
Well,
am thinking to myself, this guy is not a blowhard. He means what he says, and he will defend this city that he's just stepped foot in with his life if that's what's required of him to do. Pretty extraordinary, just to even fathom that, just to hand over my life. Yes, Colonel O'Neill, he sent me through. These are the orders. This is what I'm going to do. If it takes my life, I'll do it.
David, thank you.
Completely bought it. Completely. I was like, this guy has military experience. I mean, I'm just listening to him. And it's like, yes, yes, sir. And I had a friend she's card carrying feminist. She's like, yep, loved the guy, loved the character completely. Completely saw where he was coming from. A little bit of a dick to wear, yeah, but he's there to defend the city. He's riding in on that white horse to do it. So I have gotten that again and again about this character.
Uh, that is so unbelievably complimentary to me. That's very meaningful to me that you, well, thank you. Thank you. And that does two things for me. I have to tell you what I said to you previously. First of all, that's what was on the page.
Yep.
In just the way that it was written, all I did was stand up and say their words.
Yep.
Secondly, I have to tell you, when I got the job, I was like, how much trouble is this universe in if they're sending me to save it?
I don't know. Where does life-sucking aliens fall on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah,
Right?
and and I got to tell you, there is the fun element
Yeah.
to be able to play that guy who then gets bit by a wraith and ages 100 years. I've got a couple of souvenirs here I can show you.
Please, when appropriate, absolutely.
First of all, for me, a kid who grew up putting baseball cards in his spokes in the Bronx,
Yeah.
to get your own
Put
trading
it right in
card,
front of you.
where do I have to
Ah,
put
there
it?
we go.
To get your own trading card, oh my God. Is this one well, two. I actually have the one that they gave me when I signed it.
Ah,
And then a fan who bought it and then sent it to me.
ah.
I, um, that it's to the moon to get your own trading card.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Middle there. That's just, oh, there we
first of
go.
all,
The ball cap.
there aren't a lot of these around, but they gave me this one.
They gave you the ball cap as well?
They gave me the ball
Wow,
cap,
because that's a production
and this
patch.
is a fitted. This is fitted, baby.
Ah, good. If
And in
anyone
order,
deserves to wear the Atlantis Expedition patch, it is you, sir.
unbelievable.
Who wasn't a
Unbelievable.
regular part of that. You know, you come in, you nearly, well, he does, you nearly lose your life, and you are rolled away. Man.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the one thing that wasn't on the page that I tried to inject in there, I towards Tori's character, I was just like, ooh, I'm attracted to her. Ooh, let me add that in the scene and see what happens. You know? By the way, she and Joe and David, wow. I mean, wow. What magnificent people to share the work with. Each of them such lovely human beings, such lovely individuals. And this goes to Martin and John and the kind of
Yeah,
people they surrounded themselves
yeah.
with. When I talk about a family, there was not one person from the biggest star, Joe and Tori, come on, to the guy who came to get me in the morning. First of all, they sent the guy to come and get me in the morning. To come, instead of coming to the set for coffee, he says, I got a place to take you for cappuccino. You're going to really like this.
Ah.
And I mean, those were the kind of people they surrounded themselves with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was called Argentos. Every morning he took me there on the way to the studio because he knew I liked a good cappuccino. It was unbelievable.
And did they keep you at the Solomar?
At the
The Solomar was usually where they put up the actors, unless they had the apartments where they took them to.
no, it
But
wasn't
it's-
apartments, it was the hotel.
Yeah.
And they had us all, it was to say I was down the hall from Jay when I was
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
It would have been the Solomar. Great hotel. I've stayed there a few times.
Terrific.
It was top shelf, this show, all the way down to the craft
All the
service
way.
guys and the people who mop
there all
the
the way.
floors.
And I'm telling you that they treated my wife that same way.
Ah.
It's like, my God, you don't get this kind of treatment in this business. You know, I'm used to fighting for a room, fighting for I want a triple. Don't put me in the box. You know, it's these people took care of us. They cared about their show and they cared about their people. It wasn't just product to them,
That's right.
which
That's
has
right.
really gotten lost by the wayside.
Oh, it's
With
all
an
content now. It's just content.
no, that word is appalling.
Well, it's like the porn industry. You just have to keep on cranking them out. It's like not like there's nothing has to necessarily be of substance. It just has to occupy their brain. But saying
You know-
something that means something still matters.
When I first went to LA, I was fortunate ABC brought me up, but when I first drove in and I crossed the county line, I said, all right, when I cross the county line, I'm no longer arguing about what I am.
Yeah.
I'm just, all we're doing is haggling over price. Yeah.
Right.
Let me show you this.
Well, is that
This,
is that the mold they took of you?
this is the mold. And I'm not going to pull it down. I've got behind me one almost 20 years to the day.
Yeah.
I did one for the Blob because I got sucked down the drain. So they had to do a life mask that they could crush. And then they did this one for Stargate Atlantis because I had to be aged and they had to do the age makeup.
Now, if I may insert, did you already know that you were going to come back for Siege Part 3? To
Yes,
have, okay. All right.
yes,
Because they didn't,
yes. When
that was a
when
great thing.
the
They didn't have to technically do it. His purpose was kind of served, and the fact that they brought you back was great.
Well, they knew they had written a 3 episode arc.
Yep.
The Siege was a episode arc. So going in, and that's why I'm in the room with all these series regulars because they know off the bat. And here's another difference between the business then and now. You know, I'm in Atlanta now where we have geographic discrimination. A role can get offered as a guest star in Los Angeles, and they don't find the right person, and they can save money, so they come here and they offer it as a co-star without the appropriate billing and money. And
Because they'll
and
take it.
they'll do the same thing to what is considered local people on a recurring basis. They'll bring you into audition for a co-star, and then next week they'll ask you if you can come back. And in the day for this, it was, we know we want him for 2 out of the 3 episodes. It's a recurring role. And that's why everybody in the room was a regular,
I
was
see.
a regular.
So it brings them in.
It's
Okay.
right off the bat. We know we want him for an arc. We want top talent,
Yeah.
if I may say so.
Yeah.
Um, no, again, well, how did I get out of frame? There I am. Uh, I know where the frame is.
Yes, sir.
Uh, uh,
They wanted top. They wanted someone who would make an impression.
I can say that now.
Yeah.
But as I said, I'm a guy looking for his next job. Right now, I've got juggling 3 different possibilities for a theater role. But that's where I am. I'm an actor looking for the next job. Okay, now, having done that, yes, I've recurred on 10 different shows. I did have a series regular. I did do all that. So now I can say, okay, think of me in those terms.
Wow.
But I certainly didn't think of myself in those terms at the time. I'm a guy looking for a gig. That's the gig I want. So in order to get it, I've got to do the homework. I've got to, at home, figure out who the guy is, what he wants, why he wants it, who he's going to be with, and what occurs when he's in a relationship with those people.
Who is?
Fortunately,
Yeah.
this was a good script.
Yeah.
It's on the page. Most of that, I don't have to figure out what to do. I have to figure out why I'm doing it. That's it. But it's there. It's all there. Why? He's got to save the universe. The Wraith are coming. You
Yeah.
got to stop the Wraith.
Was
Who
I?
am I with? Joe's the leader. But now I'm coming in and taking over.
That's right. That's
Am I
right.
attracted to Tori? Well, I'm the boss, but
A man
wow,
is a man,
a man
and
is
a girl is
yes.
a girl. Yeah.
And if you can add that, then there's another flavor.
Yeah.
And that's the joy of doing what we do, finding the flavor.
So it's very interesting because my first question here was Raj Luthra. This was before we got into that. Were there any plans to have Colonel Everett and Dr. Weir be a thing? And when Stargate returned, that's a separate part. I'll get to that in a second. So he picked
Okay.
up on it. It was right there for him. I wasn't seeing that. I was just seeing the guy that was going to come in and Colonel Jack O'Neill, Richard Dean Anderson ordered a Wraith exterminator, and here he is. Did I
Right.
characterize the character appropriately, or
I think
correct?
so.
Who is this guy
I
to
think
you? Who is he?
no, I think you put your finger right on it.
Does he have a wife?
Absolutely.
Does he? Well, maybe he doesn't have a wife. Consider how he's
No, he
looking at
doesn't.
her.
He
So
doesn't.
he's
And,
lone
and
wolf.
frankly, selfishly, self-servingly, I hope that there would be a connection
Yeah.
with because I wanted to come back to this show.
Yep.
This was a show I wanted to be around. I wanted to be every single person I was, please give me another opportunity to work with these
Yeah.
people. I want to be here with them because these people are fun and they get it. They understand what they're doing and they understand the joy in it and they're having fun with it. I remember the first morning in the makeup trailer, and this is pre-IMDb. We're going back
It was around, but it was very young.
barely,
Yeah.
barely. Come on, this is over 20 years ago.
Yep.
And I sit down in the makeup trailer, and Joe leans forward and he goes, Dukes of Hazzard? And I'm like, oh my God, how do you even know that? Why do you know that? And how dare you bring that up? But that's the kind of fun.
The work
That's the
resonates
kind of
across
people you
time.
work with.
That's right.
He cared enough
Yep.
to find out who he's working with,
Yep.
right? Is this someone I can trust? Is this someone who actually knows his job? And B, I'm going to fuck with him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is there are some meaty scenes here. I love the exchange between you and Rachel Luttrell, who's in Atlanta, by the way. There's a natural, there's a natural suspicion. Her ex-husband was big in the Marvel scene for stunts. Lloyd Bateman.
I didn't know that. She's
Yeah.
terrific.
She's
terrific.
fantastic, and her and James Bamford had quite the fight in front of you there, the stunt coordinator. But there is already a built-in animosity between Everett and Shepard, because Robert Patrick's Colonel Sumner was a friend, and the Stargate program is very tight, so everyone knows everybody except Shepard's the outsider.
I remember two moments, and what I should have done is gone back and looked at these again, because I
sent you
should
the
have.
link. I sent you the link, but it's okay.
And I'm sorry.
It sounds like you watched. I wouldn't have known.
But that's the thing. Well, my wife and I, as you know, just got back from vacation.
Yes, sir.
And this was a really well-needed 2-week break.
Oh, good.
And she's prepping. She's a master swimmer. She's going to swim in the Nationals next week in Seattle. And so my focus has been
Absolutely.
and then I came back immediately to go into readings for 2 plays that I hope to do.
And you called me immediately or emailed me immediately. I didn't have to chase you at all. So thank you, sir.
Well, David, again, I am so overwhelmingly happy and grateful to be included in this world and to have the opportunity to talk about these people and this show. It was such an overwhelmingly positive experience. And look, there are people I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
There are people, and I won't.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the negativity into the planet, into the world.
Life's too short.
And, yes. And give me the opportunity to people I'm grateful to people who I admire absolutely every single day of the week. Yeah. And this is that opportunity. And there are moments on that show that I remember like I just walked off the set into this room. Doing that scene with Joe was one of them. That guy could go toe to toe with you, and you were there for the moment. That guy has got it. He's got the stuff. And it is a total joy to work with a professional actor. Every single time I get that opportunity, I'm deeply grateful.
This guy.
And frankly, Tori,
yeah,
the same thing. That woman is a powerhouse. That woman is a talent. And as lovely a human being as you could hope to work with.
She's wonderful.
And absolutely. Completely, total joy to spend every moment with her. And that's why I'm trying to put this little inflection in there, bring me back to work with her some more. I think the shit out of this.
There's something here, guys. I don't know if you're, picking up what I'm putting down, but
there's something here. But I get it if I'm 200 years old now. Okay.
Oh well, you don't look at it. You didn't look at a day under 112 when you rolled out. He is coming through the Stargate with already a built-in animosity, having had all the mission reports dumped on him. He's read it all. Or he's talked with people who have read it all and digested it for him.
I came to do a job.
Yeah. and his
I am a
friend was
professional.
killed in the process.
I'm
And
sorry?
his friend was killed in the
Yes.
process, and that
Yes.
major over there with the wacky hair is to
It's his
blame for
fault.
it directly because he stood
Yeah.
there and did nothing. He didn't act the way he expected him to act.
Right.
So there's this built-in animosity right there,
Yes.
which comes full circle the next episode. And Clayton, I barely recognized you. And the Parkinson's or whatever you want to call it that you were adding with it, dude. Oh man, that makeup team does a really great job because you are half of that particular equation.
That makeup team above and beyond. And here you go again. John and Martin and the rest of the executive team put together a family of artists. And it was a joy to work with these people. And just all you have to do is sit down, let them do what they do, and just show up inside of what they created. That's it. That's it. That's half the battle. That's three quarter. They say that casting is 90% of the job. Well, I'll tell you what, when you put that together with a team like that, again, all I had to do was show up inside of it. That was it. That was it. It's on the page and they surround you and create around you everything that you need to be, just simply to be.
Wow.
And those jobs are so unbelievably rare in this business. It's you hope for two things. You hope for that level of professionalism, and you would love to work again with the people you love.
Wow. Just a few episodes before, Tori had sat for makeup effects artist Todd Masters and did her own. Man, she was technically 10,000 years old, literally.
Hmm.
But I always like to ask this question. When you looked at yourself in the mirror,
Hmm.
did you see a family member staring back at you?
Um, no,
Okay.
it's interesting now. I have done a couple of things and I go, oh my God, I see my dad. Um, uh, my dad had this, and when I do that, I see I see my dad here. Then, when I did that, I didn't see a family member, but I saw immediately who I needed to be.
Yeah.
It it removed a great weight from me as a performer, that it took away my needing to perform and gave me the opportunity to simply be. And nobody pays dollar number one to see an actor act. We pay to see the great ones be an imaginary person under given circumstances. And when I looked in the mirror and saw what they had created, I was done. I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do is lay down and say the words.
Yeah. Just
They had
respond
created it
to that.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Then all I had to do was be there with the other human being. That was it. That made my job so unbelievably easy.
Man, I felt so bad for this guy who
Thank
came
you.
who came through and sucked the air out of the room. Not in an unnecessary way. They had very little time. And in his last scene, there's nothing left. Those things took everything from him. And there is no question of how much a problem soldier suicide is. But that guy would have been a candidate because everything that made him, from what we saw, who he was, someone who took care of others, and he is a razor. He is like the like kind of like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. He's the guy you call on when you have to when you have to have the dirty work done. You have those guys in your toolbox for a reason, and it was all ripped away. And you have to wonder what happened next. You know, it's a sad
I
arc.
certainly did. I certainly did. It did leave me wanting to know more.
Yeah.
And again, first of all, thank you, because if you received there's no higher compliment from me
Mm.
as an actor.
The
But again,
yeah.
secondly, that's the level of creativity from that team,
Hmm.
that they could put that on the page and then assemble a team to tell the story in a way that you received that.
Hmm.
It's as great a compliment that you could possibly give them.
It was a great nod for the character that he is, with whatever is left in his strength, man enough to acknowledge to Shepard, who's about to be promoted to a colonel in just a few days,
Right,
that he was wrong.
right.
And having gone through the experience himself of being transformed and being eaten alive, essentially,
Literally. Yeah,
I think he said, you know, I wish you had been there for me too.
yeah.
Damn.
How's that for writing?
It's good stuff.
How's that for writing?
It's
You
good stuff.
know,
The show will be around for a couple of years, I think.
there's a good chance.
It's
There's
got
a
a
good,
shot. It's got a shot.
you know,
Oh gosh.
the hardest thing that we have to do as performers is cover our asses when the writing sucks.
Yeah.
That's and
A good actor can elevate a bad script a little bit, but not a whole lot.
listen, there are people, Jenna Rollins comes to mind immediately as
Yeah.
someone I would pay money to watch her read the phone book.
Yeah.
I remember watching the first scene in the first pic, Nick Cassavetes directed picture, the first picture he directed, and she's throwing out newspapers, and I'm going, oh my God,
Unhook the
I, I,
stars.
I would, excuse me?
Unhook the stars. I love the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, I
This is the
would
last
watch her
time.
read
This
the
is the
phone
last
book.
time. I'm not doing my
Yeah,
daughter's job again.
yes,
She's
yes.
brilliant. I
Oh,
love Gina
thank you
Rowlands.
that you have that. Yes, absolutely. And uh, just a small. I mean, I was very fortunate to do the last John Cassavetes script that was produced that Nick directed, and so I got to know Jen, and I did get to know John a little bit. Um,
She has some
those
amazing
kind of
lines in
people
that movie.
are so rare. You
Yeah.
mentioned Nicholson,
Yeah.
Jenna, anything, but for the rest of us, if it ain't on the page, our job is really hard.
Yeah.
And I paid a lot of bills doing a lot of crap. Um, you can get away with it. But when you get a piece of writing like this, it's almost like you don't have to work. All you have to do is just show up. That's the greatest. And then you get to work with a Joe, you get to work with a Tori, you get to work with a David, and you get to, or a Rachel, you share a moment
Mhm.
where it's just human beings being human in a moment, because everything else is created and taken care of for us, so we can be those human beings. that's that's the as good as it gets for us. That's as good as it gets.
Clayton, I'm having a tremendous time with you here, but we are at 4 minutes till the top of the hour. How long do I have you for?
I'm having a great
Okay,
time,
you
David.
give me a
you,
five
you ask a
minutes.
question, I'll keep
You
talking.
you give me a 5 minute warning. I'm going to keep going. But
I'm
say
good,
I've got
keep
five
going.
more minutes. Just give me that flag because
I'll give
I
you.
will keep going because we've got a pretty darn big audience now. So
Wow, answer some questions.
absolutely. I'm going to get to them in a minute, but I'm more important. The one of the big that was a joke. One of the this was a huge sequence. The nighttime attack
Hmm.
over the city by the darts.
Hmm.
Stargate had never done really anything like this. They didn't like to shoot at night on location because they were a family show with a family casting crew that went home and 9 to 5 as much as they could. But the advantage of this was it was in
Absolutely.
studio.
And unbelievably efficient
Yeah,
because of the love they had for their family.
yeah,
Again, this is what I keep saying this whole hour, is that they cared so much that it was a family, and we're going to make sure that the families receive that love.
yep.
and that care. So yes, it's exactly right. And there was as close to the clock as anybody I've ever worked with.
And they ran it right down. The story that I was told, I think it was Rob Fournier, the armorer, on the episode, is that because they weren't on location, and I don't know where they would have shot it in the Greater Vancouver area to pull that off, the sound of the gunfire, even from the studio for this sequence, was
Mm-hmm.
so loud that they had to send people out days in advance to warn the businesses and the homes in the surrounding area. It's going to get loud. You were on the set for that, or you may not have been. You may have because you were with Weir up on the main balcony.
And that was interior.
Right. What
That was interior on set in the studio.
were you there for when they were doing the firing? Did you see? Did you witness any? Did you
But
feel
we
any of
did
that?
have some. You know, it doesn't stand out to me as an issue.
Okay. The
I
rail
have been
guns
on
were just
sets
so
where I had to
loud.
have no, but I've been on sets where I've had to be cottoned.
Yeah,
I've had the fire, I've shot, and been around gunfire, cannon fire, all of that. It's,
for sure.
I love when you're out there with the gun and the crew is behind the protective shield.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, a moment. You're behind the shield. I'm out here where it's happening. Mm,
That's why they
this,
pay you the big bucks, Clayton.
yeah, okay. Uh, well, I have worked long enough to have a pension, but I'm still working.
Hey, there you
Um,
go.
this does not stand out to me as having been a
Oh,
problem.
okay.
And yet I love, again, it goes to who these people are,
Hmm.
that they warned everybody in the surrounding area.
Hmm.
That's the kind of care that it matters to them, that it's family and it's neighbors and we
Yeah.
treat people with care. And that is the outlier in our business. That is not the norm.
Ah, isn't that a shame? Well, the especially from Rob's recollection, the decibel level was going to be so unusually loud, even for a studio, that they did that extra rather than just as a matter of course, doing it on the regular. But it was such an amazing sequence and episode, and I love that his first reaction, and it was probably scripted, but I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that it wasn't, that it was something that you did, was that Ford takes out the dart, but he can't stop the blast from hitting them, and he shields Weir with his own body. Um, it's a blink of a character moment, but it says, "Yep, the chips are down. She's a civilian. I'm taking care of her. It's my life or hers." Um, Great
Those
beat.
actors, those actors are that good.
Yep.
Those actors are that good.
Yeah, for sure.
Simply.
Anything else that you take away from that experience? I kind of connected the dots with it. I didn't go in sequence like I usually do.
Yeah, no, I remember again being really well taken care of by the stunties.
Mm.
They always made sure. I mean, that sequence in the firing sequence in the shooting, uh, they wanted to make sure that we were safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
So that, and because, well, two reasons, and the people on that side of the stick that really know their job know A, they have to protect us. That's why they're there.
Things happen. We've seen it.
Yeah, yeah, we have, and certainly here we've seen it. Um, but B, and as importantly for the production, is if we feel safe and comfortable, then we can give the best of what we have to give,
Right.
you know? And so, again, an incredibly caring, thoughtful set, crew, family that made it so easy for us to do our job and to want to do the job to the best of our ability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I take away from working on that show.
Clayton, do you want to know what the bitch of it is? Turns out the Wraith can give back life too. We find out 2 seasons later. They can make you young again.
That's
And the
down
only
the
thing I was thinking is, I know who to call in the Milky Way galaxy, get him back over here. Let's take one of the bastards, put him in the jail cell. There's some payback to be had at gunpoint. Jeez. Because Joe, as Shepard, goes through the exact same thing. And we've watched Sumner go through it. We've watched Everett go through it. And it happens to Shepard. And at the end of the episode, we find out the big reveal is the Wraith can give life as well as take it away. It's one of those beautiful, kind of like unexpected episodes. And all I was thinking about was, well, Colonel Everett.
Yeah.
Is someone going to reach out to the old folks' home in Colorado Springs? Not fair.
Oh, that's funny.
Jeez.
That's funny. I love that.
Lockwatcher said, or William Aarons, was there? So there was no discussion about bringing Colonel Everett back, brought back to health by receiving the gift of life by a wraith who was either compliant or coerced. Well, that was.
No, I wish.
Okay.
No, that never happened. In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Blink twice and I'm there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Lockwatcher wants to know, how does working the daily grind of a daytime soap, like Gregory Lacoste in Days of Our Lives, compare with the compare with the rhythm of working on a show like Stargate? Difference in dealing with sets, scheduling, craft services. Okay.
It's night. No, it's night and day.
Yeah.
It's a completely. I don't want to say it's a different set of tools, but it's tools you need to have in your box if you're going to make a living.
Yeah.
The daily grind of doing soap, and I was fortunate. I didn't have great weight to carry every day, but I was there every day. It's a completely different way of working. It's this bizarre mix of theater and TV and the people who have the weight, because you're shooting 120 pages a day,
When you say wait, do you mean dialogue mostly?
mostly. Mostly because the weight of the dialogue creates the weight of the experience and the creativity that you have to fill it with. So what you see in daytime is a mix of tricks and tools. Whereas in a nighttime drama or an independent film, if you're doing a major film, you could be doing half a page a day. You could be doing 1, 2 pages a day, maybe. You do an indie, you're doing 6 to 9 pages a day. 9 pages a day is typical for a nighttime thing. For daytime, you're doing 120 pages a day. 120 pages a day. That's a shit ton of words.
A lot of words.
And you do it 5 times.
Wow. Is that typical then?
Yeah, when we were doing soap opera in the day, that was the way we did it.
For coverage?
There was, you show up in your pajamas and you do the whole show. And so they get a general idea of blocking.
Got it.
And then you come back and now you see where the cameras are and you rehearse it that way. And the third time you've got props, you've learned more of your words. For the heavy people, there's the teleprompter, and I'm old enough to have done it to cue cards.
So if you have to, because
Don't
you have to get through the
don't
material.
laugh. That's
No. I know
And then-
actors on Stargate who had to be given cue cards, but I will never
well,
say
that's
their
another
names until the
story.
day I die.
that's another story.
Yeah.
If you're doing 6 pages, 8 pages, 9 pages a day, you don't know your words.
You got to get through it.
That might apply, huh?
You got to get through the material.
You got to know it the night before so you can be there and present and live it. I get it when there's 120. You got 20 pages you got to do today. You're not going to learn them overnight. And so that's going to be there. And you learn the tricks of the trade and how you can say them as if you're saying them, even though you're reading them and I'm looking at you, so we're going to put the card behind your head, that kind of a thing. And we're going to shoot the dress rehearsal to get a sense of it. And then we're going to shoot and we're home for dinner.
Man.
You do a show like this beautiful show, Stargate Atlantis.
Which doesn't air only once, and then it's gone until the soap channel comes along.
You have the opportunity. I have the script the week before I show up.
Yeah.
So by the time I get to Canada, I know my words.
Yeah.
Now there's going to be changes every day, They're going to be rewrites every day, and they're going to get delivered to your room, and you're going to learn those words before you show up. Now, I have been on shows where the stars learn their words while we're learning the camera angles and we're rehearsing once or twice before we shoot. Not a lot of fun for the guest stars because we have to show up ready to make
Ready to
you
go.
look,
Yeah.
ready to make you
You're
look
not
good.
promised a paycheck, to the end of the season.
But like I said, me and Jay were up at night
Yeah.
working with each other.
That's Jay, man.
He was there for Stargate and I was there for Atlantis. And we're working with each other to help each other out. And the next day we can show up on a set ready to rock and roll. In case, which was not necessary in this case, in case the stars are not ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
On this show, they were always ready to rock and roll. And that was one of the joys of being there.
And at a time of the year when they're arguably ready to be done with it for a few months. It wouldn't be surprised if they were burnt out. They've done 20
You
friggin'
would
episodes.
you could think that way, but again, these were true professionals,
Wow.
caring professionals who know their job and were grateful to be there and get the job done the right way.
Wow. Absolutely. Kathy,
Credit to them. Credit to
Kathy's
them.
Kathy's call wants to know, was it difficult ever to maintain the military head honcho, all business type, given the nature of this cast? One of the things that Tori said when they were in production early in season 1, and SG1 was early in production of season 8, that SG1 was all fart jokes and chill, and Atlantis had something to prove. Wondering if that was your experience by the end of those
Not my
respective seasons.
experience, but see, but that's what they had to live through and live up to.
Yeah.
I come on to a fully functioning working show. It exists. That world exists. All I have to do, as you, as he does, he comes through the gate into the world. That
You
was
are
me.
relieved.
That was me, Clayton Landey, coming to Canada, coming through the door of the studio into the world. The world exists when I show up. All I have to do is fit into that world. No, it was not difficult at all. It was on the page. I show up as that guy because that world exists and I have no other choice. Between takes, I have lovely human beings to enjoy a moment with, and then I just have to step back into the world. The world exists.
So it's just right there. If the work
It's
is
there.
good, you just pull it out of the page and you do what you do naturally.
It's
That's
on the page. I
yeah.
don't, it's on the page and the world exists. And as we've talked about this whole time, that creative team creates everything you need to be present. It was frankly, I don't want to use the word easy because you do what you do. And if it was easy, somebody else could do it.
But it
And
was natural to you.
it was natural
Yeah.
to me in that time and place and in that moment because they made it easy for me to be.
Clayton, you've hinted at this around the edges. What about when it's not? What about when it's you've got? I mean, we talked about 400 credits, and I'm also curious. How frequently out of all of those would you say it's not easy? Would you say, I don't necessarily respect this material, but I have a family to feed, and work is work, and there are no small parts, only small actors, and all the mantras that they tell us. But when the material isn't there, do you go into it sometimes hoping that you can derive something out of it because you are, this is your profession and this is what you do, and there are spaces for these types of stories,
That's the job.
and that's the job.
That's the job.
Yeah.
My job is to show up and say those words in a way that you believe them. That's the job. Now, I don't have to love the script.
Yeah.
There are things that I won't do,
Okay.
and I just and I just say no. And I tell this to every one of my students. No is as important as yes. You've got to say every yes that you can say because it's the yeses that move you forward, but it's the no's that protect your ass. And
Yeah.
and you've got to know when to say no. It starts off by having to have a good bullshit meter. I got to protect myself. Those people are not here for my benefit. They're trying to use me for
Right.
their
It's a
benefit. If
heavy
you say no
bullshit
right off the
industry.
bat,
That's right.
then there are commercials that I said no to because no. And there is material that I've said no to because it was demeaning to someone.
Yeah.
and I did not want to take part in that.
Yeah. Dignity is
But
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
ethics, dignity,
Hmm.
personal integrity,
Hmm.
it's my heart and my soul. And there's stuff there's any number of things that you can look up and find, and it's
Sure.
would not have been my first choice. Time to pay the rent.
Sure. But you have to sleep at night,
But
as
there's
well
that.
as keep the heater on.
There's
Um,
exactly that. I got
Garwin,
I got to keep the door open and the electricity on,
that's
but
it.
there's shit that I just will not do.
It's
Period.
it's interesting. Garwin Sanford, who was in SG1 and Atlantis both, he said, as an actor, there's going to be things that I don't like to do all the time. But he is a jack of all trades. He does these gothic clay mask sculptures, and
Mm,
in that he has specifically set aside that portion of his craft where he does not compromise
that's
at all,
fantastic.
because that's his world. But you know what? Sometimes he's got to play a character he's not in love with because he's
Yeah,
got a family to feed.
and listen, I've been around a long time because I'm not a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
I've been an actor, a director, a writer, a dancer, a singer. My first 8 years, I was a mime, a juggler.
A teacher.
I'm a teacher,
Yeah.
and I know when to say yes, and I know when to say no.
Yeah.
You know, um, it the when it's not there on the page, that's when we earn our check.
Yeah.
You know, um, I can say things in a certain. I've often been the guy who does the exposition.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's a
be,
muscle.
it is a muscle. It's exactly right, and it's a muscle that not everybody has. So I've gotten hired to use that muscle. You know, but I've also made sure, pretty much every year I've worked, I've found a project that I believed in,
Mm.
or I've been fortunate enough to be a part. Look, the first feature film I did, I'm a union guy since I'm 17 years old. Union has put the roof over my head and the food on my table for my
Yeah.
father, and my father's father.
Yeah.
Different unions, but
Yeah.
union.
Hmm.
First feature I did was Norma Ray. Union. There's Sally holding up Union. You know, I was so proud to be a part of that. First TV movie I did was King, the Martin Luther King story. I was so proud to be a part of that. And Norma Ray, by the way, is in the Library of Congress, National Film Registry.
Wow.
Um, I've been in the right place a couple of times. So I've always tried to do something, at least one project a year, that says
It
something
says
that I
something.
believe.
Yeah. How often do you instruct?
I'm taking a summer break, but September through June. I teach scene study for the working actor at the Alliance Theater, the Tony-winning theater here in Atlanta, regional theater. And that is for advanced students. Those are people who are working actors. They have to audition to get in that class.
I
Uh,
Do you
and
allow
then
audits? I'm in Nashville. I
I
would love to come
never,
over.
no,
Okay.
I
Okay.
never
I
allow
wanted to
audits.
ask. Okay.
Never allow audits. That's why people audition for me. We're in the room together. You
Hmm.
you don't get the opportunity to see what I do, but I audition people, so it's basically a half-hour coaching session. You see if I work well for you, and I see if you work well for the class. We get to play together and see where we are. And then I have another class that I co-teach with Eliana Marianis, who teaches a physical approach called viewpoints. And it's a combination of viewpoints with the internal work that I do, and that's called Get the Fuck Out of Your Head. Because we found we were saying that more than anything else. Just get the fuck out of your head, will
Hmm.
you? And I was fortunate. I My BA is in drama. I was in class at University of Houston
Hmm.
with both Quades, with Brent Spiner, with Cindy Pickett. These were the kids I came up with.
Yeah.
And then I spent a year when I went to LA, and again ABC brought me from Atlanta to LA. I spent a year with Daryl Hickman, and then I was fortunate to spend the summer in master classes with Stella Adler,
Great
who
Stella Adler.
was with a member of the group theater, created
Yeah.
modern American acting. Her students were Brando, De Niro. These are the people that studied with her. And then by invitation, I studied in the only class that Brando offered. Um,
Wow.
so in my teaching, we combine the internal work I learned with these masters with the external work of viewpoints. So if you're taking our Get Out of Your Head class, which now has 4 levels, you're getting the full approach, vocal, physical, and internal.
Yeah. And it's such a, I can understand why you wouldn't want outside observers because it's such an intimate process. Yes, when the material is ready to present, people are as raw and vulnerable as they're ever going to be with the material that they know. But until then, they have to be free and comfortable to express themselves and find themselves until they've got it right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so both classes, the scene study class and Get Out of Your Head, which it's called Get Out of Your Head at the Alliance because they market to
Yeah.
families. So and say, get the fuck out of your head.
But we all
But
know what it
once
really
you get in the
means.
room, you
Yeah.
know it's really get the fuck out of your
Yeah.
head. Um, both spaces, it's the only place I've ever been that I would consider a safe space.
Yeah.
It needs to be a place where you can be open and vulnerable, and we work on process, not performance. So no outside observers in either class. The get out of your head, we even give them the opportunity, and because there's 4 levels now, that if they want to invite, because we do a bonus night, we do. There's a play called Constellations. It's a two-hander that deals with the possibility of the multiverse. So if these two people, if this had happened, it would have gone this way. If this had happened, it would have gone that way. And you see the same two people play all the different stages and all the different possibilities. So we get the entire class to learn every word of the play so anyone can step in at any time in either role. So, and this is the advanced. This is the 4th level. And after the class is over, we have a bonus night where we bring everyone in and we do the entire show, start to finish, and anybody can jump in either role at any time. And that's how
Constellations.
good these people are, that they can do either one. And the most astounding is I jump in and I start saying your words, and you have to take the other role mid-scene. And so we
Wow.
give them the opportunity to bring people in, but in most cases they just say no, and because we have established this space of complete vulnerability that they want to keep that for them.
Nick Payne. The
Yeah, Nick Payne, tremendous writer.
discovering a character really is just as much, if not more, about discovering yourself. And I think that it's really a great thing to pursue if you are wanting to get out of your own damn head um, by literally stepping out of yourself and into someone else. Let's set myself aside, but use the building blocks of me to create something new
So
and be
many of
vulnerable with another human being.
Yes, but so many of us start out in the business thinking, I get to be all these other people for so many of us, so I don't have to be me. And what you
Yeah.
find through doing the work is that if I don't figure out who I am, then I don't know what the material is I have to use to be them.
Yeah.
And that's why you'll find so many of us committed to doing any number of different versions of a therapy to find out who we are.
Wow.
And you see that over and over again. Yeah.
And I would think the other part of it, if I were a performer, would be when I would see a performance and be like, "Damn, is that insincere? That's you could have made a meal out of that, and
Yeah.
you went with that, or maybe it's crappy editors."
And no, and that's the difference between acting and being.
Yeah.
But I said earlier on, I don't pay a dollar to see someone act. I pay anything to see them be. If you can be that imaginary person under those imaginary events, in
Mm-hmm.
those circumstances, if you can allow yourself to be that human being under the given set of circumstances, you are being, now you've got me. I just watched 2 different shows last night, and one's a new series and one's a second season of a series. And the first one, I couldn't watch it for 5 minutes. It was like, Mike, who the fuck are you kidding? You're acting, and everybody in this frame is acting, and they didn't even give you the opportunity. It was just, this is bad. I can't watch
I'm gonna
you
go
act.
wash the dishes. I'll just listen to it.
Yeah. And then I turned on this other show, which is the second show is Lazarus, and it is a great sci-fi premise, the time jump, and I believed absolutely every moment of every sequence. You got me. I'm watching you experience that for the first time, and now you're realizing it's for the 101st time. Wow, you got me. I can't wait for the next episode.
George and Archie. Yeah.
Yeah, George and Archie. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful. It was wonderful.
2 seasons. Lazarus Project. This is how I find my shows. Yo, yeah, I'll take that one of those, and I'll
Give it
take
a try.
that. And yeah,
It's
no,
worth giving it a try because I believed them.
yeah.
You know?
Has the Zoom casting process destroyed a generation in your mind? Get a lot of reports of actors coming on here saying, they hired them over Zoom. They didn't bring them in to communicate with anyone. They put them in front of 100 people for the first time. They say action and the actor freezes. And we're stuck.
Anecdotal, but any number of times I've heard the story of exactly that. The guy gets the job because he sent the 30-second attempt to say the
That
six
he
words,
polished.
and they gave him
That's right.
a different set of words, and he didn't know what to do with them.
Yep.
That is not a real actor. And listen, I made my bones in the day, and like I said about with Ray and those guys, we went in the room, and the beauty of that is you're alive.
Yeah.
And if you're a theater actor, if you've come from the stage, you know what it feels like to be in front of people. And you walk into the room and you can feel the energy in the room, and you know when it's going with you, you know when it's going against you, and you ride the wave. And when you're done, you can say, but that's my idea. What do you think?
Mhm.
And you're showing them two things. A, you have a brain. You know that there are other choices that can be made. And B, if they give you a choice and you go with it, you show them you got some talent. You can play the game. I can go on the spot. Tell me what else you want. I'll give you that. And so many times, one of the classes that we teach one week, level 2 in our Get Out of Your Head is garbage direction, where I play the director who doesn't know how to talk to you in the first fucking place. Oh, what I need here is more yellow. Do you know what I mean when I say yellow? Can you make it more yellow for me? I've heard that. I've heard that on a set.
It's probably a
Needs
synesthist.
more yellow. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know that wasn't the picture you had in your mind, and you don't know how to ask me to go to that place. And 9 times out of 10, because as much as it is with the writing, what do you do when it's not there? Same thing with the directing. There are fewer directors than one would hope for who know what their job is. So many of them know the size of the lens, but they don't know how to talk to the actor.
Yeah, technical, like
Tell the
Lucas, faster,
story
more
in a
intense.
different way.
Yeah.
Yes, help me tell the story. If you can say that, I did. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. I did an episode of Queen of the South.
Mm.
And she said, do you mind if I ask you to do it this way? Do I mind? I'm thrilled that you know to ask me to do it that way. My job is to help you tell the story the way you want to tell it. Tell me whatever you want. Let's go.
Is it Alice Braga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful.
Google.
What a joy to work with. She knew the story she wanted to tell,
That's
and
right.
she knew she wanted a different shade. And she
Yep.
knew how to ask for that shade. I'll
That's right.
give you that. But if you're telling me you need more yellow, I'll give you something.
You know
I'll
what,
always give you something.
Clayton? I grew up with a guy who he and his twin brother had synesthesia, and when you talk to him, he hears texture and color in your voice. Mine was smooth red. His twin brother, he draws and he hears music. It is a thing, and they're not really hearing or seeing, they're
director said
perceiving
that.
these things. Yeah.
When this director said that, it wasn't a thing. He didn't know how to ask.
One of Nick's anecdotes was when he was conducting an orchestra, he literally said to them, I need more blue. But he had been working with them for weeks, and they interpreted, right, exactly. And I do believe that your guy was bullshitting, but it's like...
Absolutely. And too many times, way too many times, they don't know how to ask. So they ask in a way that makes no fucking sense to an actor whatsoever. And if you can give them anything different, they think they created that.
Yeah. And let them.
And they're so proud of themselves, and now they love you. And that's what I teach these people.
Yeah.
If you can just say, okay, I'll try this. If you can just jump on the moment into something different, they think they're brilliant and now they love you.
Yeah.
And that's harder, frankly, than bringing something that isn't on the page.
Mhm.
Because
There's
you can always make, as the actor, okay, the choice I'm going to make here is, even though it says I want to kill you, I'm going to make it, you know what I'd really like to do with you? Oh, would I like to do that with you? And if you just bring something different, they go, whoa, I didn't even know I had done that.
That's
Wow.
right.
But when the director doesn't know how to ask for it, you've got to give them a spin that makes sense.
Hmm.
And if you can do that, they think they know what they're talking about.
But doesn't make you feel disingenuous for delivering it. It's
No,
like, well, that was a piece of crap. I sure he doesn't
no.
pick that. Hope he doesn't pick that one in the editing room.
Well, you know, there's two different actors. There's the one who says that, and there's the one who says, "Well, my job is to make it better,
Yeah,
and I'm going to earn my money today."
yeah,
And the other guy, again, I'm not going to mention who it was.
yeah.
I remember one of my very first auditions in LA, a commercial audition. And I walked into the room, and they were casting two roles, and I was probably 30 years old. So, and I looked younger. So I was the young guy looking for the young guy role. And I walked in, and it was the gallery of great Warner Brothers faces. Mike Mazurki and these guys who with the nose and the voices and the face, and they were all the great faces that were behind the stars in all the great Warner Brothers films.
Sitting there in the room with you, not
City,
on, not
these were
on
all my
pictures,
heroes.
not on
These were all my
frames. Okay.
heroes. You know, I grew up
Wow.
watching all those movies as a kid on TV when TV didn't have content. We had all the great movies from the 40s and the 50s, right? That's what we were watching. And all this gallery of faces. And and then there was one guy in the back of the room who was a B movie Western star and was the supporting character in the A movies. And he was pissing and moaning about having to audition for these guys for a fucking commercial. And I can't believe they don't just. And I looked at Mike Mazurki. Mike Mazurki. Oh my God. Who was so happy to be there and have
Yep.
this opportunity and have a conversation with a guy like me who loved these guys. And I said, that's who I want to be. I will never be that guy. And that's the guy who complains about the director. And now he's a bitter old man. And I will never be that guy. I'm going to be the guy who's grateful to be asked to be in the room.
And so much of it is not, some things aren't, but so much of it is within your control, how you choose to view
Absolutely.
your circumstances.
You can't choose what happens to you, but you must choose what your response to it is. If you're choosing, if you
Mhm.
think it's about what happens to you, you're a victim.
Mhm.
And if you choose the response, now you have a shot at life. Now you have a shot to be
Yeah,
who you
because you
want.
can change the trajectory after that. You have
Absolutely.
a shot
That's
at
your
it.
moment. It's your
Yeah.
moment to make that choice. This is my wife always says, negative side, positive side. Every moment you decide.
Oh, I love that. My mantra on the show is make good ripples. You're going to
Oh,
make them one way or another. It's the
I
it's the
love that.
Stargate. You know,
And
they're
that's,
ripples.
but that's the thing I use in teaching too. You know, you throw the pebble into the pond,
That's right.
you don't know what shores the ripples are going to hit. So you throw the best pebble you can throw.
Hmm. We are
Most
communicating
positive pebble.
constantly, and people are reading us and taking stuff in and ignoring us and doing everything else. Make good ripples. Yeah.
Absolutely love
Positive,
that. Make
negative,
good
you
ripples.
decide.
Make good
Yeah.
ripples. I love that.
Marsha Middleton, First and 10, was one of the first half-hour comedy shows for cable TV. Marsha's
It
a
was
dear friend.
the first half hour comedy, scripted half
Wow.
hour comedy on HBO.
Wow.
They had done there was an improv comedy, but it was the first scripted half hour comedy on HBO. Yeah.
Wow. She says, I enjoyed that fun show about the world of professional football. Do you have any memories you can share about working on that first season with folk like the legendary quarterback Fran Tarkenton, perhaps?
I never got to work with Fran Tarkenton.
Okay.
I did work. I have some great memories, and I got a couple I don't know if I should repeat. Uh, I like to say I worked
Positive,
with the
negative. You
original Delta
decide.
Burke. Delta, yeah.
Delta. Oh
Delta,
my God, Delta.
Delta was as gorgeous inside as she was outside.
I've heard good things. I was a big
Gorgeous,
Defining Women fan growing up.
wonderful human being. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, a treat for me, and I'll tell a story that he told me, so I think I can repeat it.
Okay.
Michael V. Gazzo from The Godfather,
Oh wow.
right? Slits his wrist and
Yeah.
I got to work with, and went, oh my God, this is the guy who wrote Hatful of Rain. Holy this guy who's brilliant, brilliant writer, brilliant actor. And at that particular time was proud of his sobriety and told the story. He said, this is how much of a drunk I was. My brother and I went to Westwood to have a drink, and I woke up in Rome. And I don't know how I got to Rome.
Rome.
Rome. Not
by
Rome, Georgia. Rome, Italy.
by
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah, well, he didn't remember the plane ride. But
God.
what?
What?
I don't think I've gone back. Well, was it last year, 2 years ago? Someone told me they were a huge fan of the show, and I went back and I watched a couple of episodes, and I went, "Oh my God, they let me get away with that." It was like, this is not the highlight of my life as an actor when I see the performance in that show, frankly. But it fit what they were looking for, and I do remember it was actually I had a Triumph 750 at the time, and it was during I believe it was the Olympics, the LA Olympics, and I'm on my way to the Olympics, and I got my then wife on the back, who is a wonderful, wonderful human being and a brilliant actor, and we have a wonderful son as a result. But that was my second. And I get a call from my agent. They want you to come read for this new show. It's a pilot. And I'm going to the just stop and I literally on the motorcycle stopped, went in, read the material, got back on the bike, and went to the Olympics. And when I got home, I had a series.
Isn't it amazing? The ones that you don't waste your cognitive energy on,
Right?
you spit it out, and they're giving me from that.
Right?
I had lines
As
in my
opposed to
teeth.
going through 5 rounds with Ray Abruzzo.
Wow.
So I got the show. I won't tell a couple of stories about the producers. We ended up in disagreement, and I don't know. Much my problem is their problem, but
Sure.
I didn't do further seasons
Yeah.
because somebody didn't live up to their end of the bargain, and it wasn't me. But I did, as a result, I got to work with Ruta Lee. I got to work with Michael V. Gazzo,
Yeah.
Bobby Miranda, Delta Burke,
Delta.
Tiny Lister. God bless, what a sweet guy that guy was. Remember Tiny Lister? Tiny, oh my God,
Yes, I
a
recognize
very
him.
famous sci-fi film. Help me
The
out.
Fifth Element.
Yes, The Fifth Element.
It's one of my top 5. Yeah, what
And
a face.
Tiny, he was an ex-ball player. They gave him a shot. He was terrific. I remember my nieces came to visit us on the set. They were younger then. And he got down to do a bench press, and he put one on each side of the barbells and lifted the bells with the 2 girls on either
Oh
side.
my God.
Yeah, Tiny. And he could make it, the first guy I saw could make his pecs dance. He could sing Happy Birthday with his pecs.
And what?
And the sweetest guys on the planet.
And what an actor. I have 27 more meetings after this one, Professor.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. God, that's good.
Absolutely terrific.
There's something to be said about standing in a room, and it's not getting stars in your eyes. It's witnessing something magical happen right in front of you. And you know how a lot of it goes under the hood because you do it too. And it's like, now that's a performance. Now that was cool to watch. And maybe I have a thing or two that I can put in my back pocket and try out the next time I'm up on stage. You know, this energy feeds more energy.
Well, I will tell you, sitting opposite Gazo, it was like, this guy is doing stuff I never even thought about doing.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm out here this big, and this guy is just right here. Can I learn to do that?
Hmm.
Just be there like him? Oh my God.
Hmm.
What there are people like that, that just being in their presence, you're learning.
Yeah. Patrick McKenna, he came on once and he said, I'm a French horn. I can try those other things, you know, but I know that I'm a French horn. But I can see the
Hmm.
other way too. I can see being an explorer, you know. Let's
Hmm.
try. I may fall on my face, you know, but at least I'll have tried it.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
What is it that you think about why we're talking about Stargate? About after all these years, what do you think that it provided us as viewers that it's still providing today? And in some cases is more relevant than ever. You got to
Well,
see the alchemy in person at its peak in 2004. What
see,
did you glean from it?
I think of it and I don't mean to be pretentious. I although sometimes I really am.
Hey, pretentious
Uh,
way.
uh, um, the kernel
Mm.
of what was great about Stargate is the same kernel that what was great about the original Star Trek. That these people are excellent storytellers,
Mm.
framing human stories, human needs, human goals, human desires in the framework of science fiction.
Mm.
You know, as was often said about Star Trek was a Western in outer space.
Mm-hmm. Wagon train to the stars.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And in that sense, Stargate has the same achievement,
Mm-hmm.
and that they're telling us about who we are as human beings, but putting it in this framework.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I took away from that.
The greatest science fiction can play all the genres in the same show. It can
Hmm.
be a comedy, it can be a drama, it can
Hmm.
be a courtroom, you know, it can be horror, it can do, and Stargate has done them all.
Hmm.
And I
And
think
that's
that
humanity.
it's humanity. It is the tapestry of us, and I think that that's why it continues to be so evergreen. And they stuck the landing so many times that when we see it now, with all of our advancements in technology and our political circumstances evolve, culturally we evolve. It's like you keep getting more out of it that may not have been there by design to begin with, but they were tapping into something that was true. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it still resonates.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know, I heard
And, and
someone,
that, and that's why it resonates.
yeah, that I heard
That's
someone
why
mention
it
it
resonates.
at one point that truth. What is truth? Well, truth is that which can be replicated independently through across multiple different systems. That's
Yes.
what Stargate is grabbing onto, and so we receive it with a message that is different when we're kids. That is, and it is different when we still appreciate what we felt when we were little in watching a
Hmm.
piece of entertainment, but we get something more out of it as adults or at a different point in our lives. And it's magic and it's immortal. And I'm sure there's a little bit of immortality that you feel about that as well, having been a part of it. Some things are great, some things not so good, some things I could put on a bonfire. But at the end of the day, that's my life. It's what I did.
At
Clayton,
the
this has
end,
been amazing. Thank you.
uh, a real treat for me. And at the end of the day, and I'm closer to my end than you are, I have these experiences. I've been fortunate enough to be in these places and have done these things with these people. And it will exist and it'll be on the screen and people can still take from it what they will long after I'm gone. It's rather astounding to me.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
a blessing.
again deeply, deeply grateful for having had the opportunity.
Sir, you've been wonderful. I appreciate you
David,
taking so
this has
much time and
been
being so insightful.
A total treat for me, a real pleasure. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you the opportunity to have the conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. I'm going to wrap up the show on this end, and all the best, sir.
Thank you
So
so
thank
much. You
you.
as well.
I got a couple of questions. Clayton Landey, Colonel Dillon Everett from Stargate Atlantis. What a treat. A couple of questions for me. I don't get them very often, so hey, questions for me. White Castle, from all the Stargate series stars you've interviewed, don't you have a sensation that they would like to be part of a new one, a new Stargate series? I would love that, and I bet they would too. Many, I mean, I'm sure Clayton among them would love to come back in some shape or form. But the more that we move forward in time, I really have a feeling that MGM is going to have something different planned for it when they finally launch. Brad Wright submitted his treatment for a fourth Stargate show, and they passed. And talk about a stake to the heart. But we'll see. And, you know, I would love to see some of them come back in new ways. So, I mean, you look at Richard Hatch with the new Battlestar Galactica, Tom Zarek, man, oh man. Marcia, fun question. What has prompted you to grow your beard and mustache out? You mean shave them, Marcia? Because I just got rid of them all. I'm no longer fat, so that helps. Um, You're watching Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed the show and you want to see more content like this on YouTube, please click the like button. It does help with the show and will continue to help us grow our audience. Please also consider sharing the video with a Stargate friend. And if you want to get notified about future episodes, click subscribe. And clips from this live stream will be released over the course of the next few weeks on both the Dial the Gate and GateWorld.net YouTube channels. My tremendous thanks to my producing team, Anthony, Kevin, Summer, and my moderators, Anthony, Jeremy, Kevin, Lockwatcher, Marcia, Raj, and Jacob. And big thanks over to Frederick Marcoux at Concepts Web, who keeps dialthegate.com up to date. I'm going on a bit of a holiday myself, so there will be shows here and there. Something really special I've got planned for all y'all. If you're gamers, you'll be really excited. So keep an eye open. Keep them both open. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you on the other side.